Hello everyone, I am back and another long day at the shop. Let me show you what I've got. I spent the entire day getting this front Grand Sport nose located on the car. It was a bunch of trial and error, put it on, see where it's hitting, take it off, trim, put it on, see where it's hitting. I can't count the number of times I had that front end on and off. One of the challenges is that there is a steel beam in the front of the C6. And so every other car I've seen, what they do is they cut that steel beam, the support behind it, move it back several inches, and then weld it back on. I didn't really want to do that, or don't really want to do that, so I wanted to see how far I can move the front nose back and not disturb that beam. The good thing is that the grill will cover where that sticks out. Here's the grill. I'm going to have a billet aluminum version of this made. But putting it in place, ouch. Well, it won't fit because of my clamps. It doesn't fit anyway. The clamps make it worse. There we go. That's kind of what it's going to do. All right. So that's what the grill's going to look like. And as you can see, it fits, and you can't see the beam really. And I could just put something black behind it, between the two. So it's going to work. I could move it back further, but I'm afraid if I get it back much further, I am going to have an issue with the grill. So I think this is the best compromise. Plus, where the headlights are, it's almost hitting that beam as well. It's a pretty wide beam. It's probably 6 inches tall at least. So I'd have to really modify it. Again, I'm trying to avoid doing that. All right, the other thing I worked on is mocking up the Fender Flares. Can't do it like the Grand Sport, C2 Grand Sport. That's as close as I can get. So I'll have to modify it some more. It's not the right curve for some reason. I mean, it looks great on the C2s, but on this one, that curve of that wheel opening just doesn't do it for me. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do. You can see right now, it moves back quite a bit from the wheel. I would rather have this come in more, so I might move that forward, but that's going to require changing the curve of this, which is why I'm segmenting it like I have, and then putting pieces in between. Same thing on the front. I got to figure out what to do about that. This fender liner, I don't know why it's got pushed back. Oh, I see. I just need to trim that lip right there, I think. So I'll do that tomorrow. That's about the wheel gap I want, 2 fingers all the way around. And then over here it's twice that much, so I'd rather narrow that down. Okay, what else do we have? The hood, I got the hood fitting on relatively well. Same way with the hood scoop, it fits on relatively well. You can see there is a bit of a gap, but it's because the hood isn't correct. What I've got to do is take the C6 hood, which is right here, and separate the hood skin. This hood skin won't even work at all. I tried, and this hump in the middle just causes everything not to work. So it's got to be separated right here all the way around. They use the GM, use their panel bond, whatever version they used, depending on what year it was, and I've dealt with that on the C8, and that stuff, it's actually as strong or stronger than the sheet molded compound or SMC that they use for the material. So I may end up just literally ripping up and destroying the hood to get it off. I don't know. If anyone knows any secrets about how to get that apart, I would appreciate that. All right, one of the things I need to do for the fender lip is the rear tires are taller and wider, so I'm actually going to swap one of those on the front, and that'll help me get the shape and the curve and all of that looking much better. I may have to paint it because of the segmented and the different colors and all that. It's kind of hard to tell what's what. So I'll fix that inner liner and then swap wheels and then see what I've got. All right, what else is there? Again, oh, this is it. All right, this is where the front edge of the hood was with the Grand Sport. Obviously, this is the front edge of the hood on the Grand Sport, and because of that beam and everything else that's underneath there, I had to move the nose forward. What is that, 6 inches? I don't know. Put my tape measure somewhere. So I'm trying to figure out, again, like I said, I could move it back, but it would take a lot of work, structural work on the C6, and I'm trying to avoid doing that. This is what the fender looks like. The lighting's not real good. This is what the fender looks like right now without the fender flare on it. So it's pretty much where it belongs. It's just trying to get it to look right with the fender flare. And of course the rear, it also looks good where it's at. I am going to put fender lips on it. I am going to put wider wheels and tires on this, which is why I'm doing the fender lip. The thing is, this mold is actually for a wide body, so it doesn't absolutely have to have the fender flares, but a Grand Sport without fender flares just isn't really a Grand Sport. So I'm making them narrower than the Grand Sport, actual Grand Sport fender flares. All right, I am thinking I'm going to make the hood out of carbon fiber. After my experience of not getting a good finish on the side, getting air pockets and stuff, yet getting a pretty good finish on the exposed side, what I'm thinking about doing is going ahead and, like I said, fixing this gap and such, and then putting the carbon fiber on, and then using the top as the exposed surface. It's not going to be perfectly flat, but from the doors, they came out pretty good, and I'm thinking I would rather do that than make a mold and all of that, because when I'm done with this, after I get the hood done, then I have to make a mold of the new hood that's got all of this integrated together. So I am hesitant to make a temporary mold and then a permanent mold. I'd rather just do this, get it working, make a carbon fiber hood, and then make one permanent mold from that carbon fiber hood. All right, may change my mind. Carbon fiber has been a bit of a challenge, more so than fiberglass. All right, the other thing is I was worried about the angle of this nose. And unfortunately, my laser's not that strong, but as near as I can tell, that is the correct angle. So what it is the top was hitting on some cases, the bottom was hitting on some cases. So when I trimmed, I'd cut a little off the top, find the next spot that was hitting. Well, it was a spot underneath, so I trimmed underneath, and I kept going back and forth. And of course, it would rock the angle of the nose depending on whether I cut more on the bottom or more on the top. So I think I've got it pretty straight right now. Like I said, I'm going to either get a string or a more powerful laser or a darker room, any of the three. And this is hard to hold steady with my left hand. But as far as I can get it, I think it's pretty close to spot on there. I tried putting a piece of wood there and I couldn't get it to stay. It would have been a 2-person ordeal. And then the carbon fiber doors raise up. You can see there's a factory C6 door seam, what do you call it? Anyway, it's lower than the one on the C2, but the door takes care of that door skin that's going to come in and tie those two together. I would put the door skin on, but the mirrors are in the way, so they're going to have to be removed. And like I said previously, I don't like these mirrors at all, so I'm going to figure out what to do about that and modify those. All right. So even though I'm working hard, progress seems much slower. The closer you get, the slower it seems the progress is, but it's just a lot of work. Oh, the other thing, this is all I have cut so far off of that beam. Those two were end pieces on the beam, and if you look right there, I cut it right there just to give me enough room to move that back. That gave me another inch or so to move it back, which I think it needed. I can't see any disadvantage to having that nose stick out the extra 4 inches. I don't think it looks obscenely long or anything. And it's nowhere near as long as the C8. When I was test fitting all those other front ends, the C2 has a very short distance from the front of the wheel to the front end, so that wouldn't work for anything. And then the C8 has a really long distance between the two, and I was hoping that between the two I could get something to work, but the end result is no such luck. So I'm going to have to fill in that gap myself. All right, that is all I've got for today. It is getting cold out here. I do have the carbon fiber door skins in the office. The shop is separated between 1,000 square foot for the shop and 400 square foot for the office. Even though I really don't have a huge need for an office, it's there. So I put the door skins, I couldn't get the epoxy to cure, put it in the sun, that helped. And then I increased the temperature in the office to 75 degrees. And so they've been sitting there for an entire day at 75, and it seems to have helped. I'm going to leave them another day. I've got stuff to do tomorrow, so I won't be at the shop. So that'll give it another day, and then I'll pull them back out. I put them back in the molds to let them cure. So I'll pull it out of the molds and see what I've got. But as far as I can tell, that fixed the issue. All right, that's all I got. All right, like, subscribe, hit the alert, hit the thanks if you want to donate. And if you don't like what I'm doing, you don't know jack. Bye.